Hello and welcome to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do and the paths that have led them to where they are today. Okay, today with Maya. Hi Maya. Hi. Could you tell the lovely listener what it is you do for a living?
Okay, so I am the founder of Rhythm Nutrition, and it is a small supplements company. We have a very clear mission. It's to help people keep moving. And the idea is to just create really clean products that are centered around joint health, muscle health, bone health, just so that, we feel strong and confident as we move through life.
Brilliant. But you didn't remotely start as this, did you? Because I've known you for a long time. So let's track, before we go into that though, let's track all the way back. Little Maya, what were you like? What were you into as a teeny tiny person?
Okay, so, gosh, little Maya, I think I'm one of three. So we're three girls and I am the youngest. So I was always the baby.
Most trouble.
Actually, quite the opposite. So I was the baby of the family, but I don't know, maybe the times that we grew up in, I was always the one that was left to just get on with it. The child.
Your
they
parents had done it by that point,
basically. But I had amazing sisters as well. Not to say that my parents weren't amazing; they just were busy. And so I was very content in my own world as a child. I did my own thing, and I think I was also the sort of person who never always not too rebellious, but I didn't always follow the rules, if you like. But it's within safe grounds.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
You pushed respectable boundaries.
Correct, respectable boundaries. But I grew up in Mumbai with my family. We moved there when my parents got married from Tenerife, and so my schooling was there. My best years, my best friends are all in Mumbai.
Wow.
And it's amazing because we recently went to India in Feb this year, after 10 years, and you meet your friends from when you were a child, and you just pick up from where you left things last. So it's amazing. It was a good childhood.
Yeah. So what age did you leave then?
So I went to school there. I did my college there, and at the age of 15, 16, that's when we were thinking. My parents got divorced.
Okay.
My elder sister got married. She was in India. And so it was time for my other sister, me and my mum to move because my mum wanted to go back to her hometown.
Yeah.
And so we moved to Tenerife. And that time I took a couple of years out. I didn't go back to studying. I didn't have money.
Yeah.
We were broke. And so I worked for my uncles for 2 years. They had their own businesses.
Yeah.
And
so someone ringing to say I need an order.
Yeah, just a second.
No, not at all.
So I worked for a couple of years in Tenerife, with my uncles, and then I always knew I wanted to study. I wanted to carry on. I was still quite young, so I applied to study in London. Got through to City University. Wanted to do business IT because it felt like the thing to do.
Yeah,
business and IT.
Yeah.
At that time, I think when I look back and I think about my career in university, I don't think we always thought, at least our generation, I don't know if you feel the same, we didn't follow passion. We did what felt like the degree that would probably, end up with you employed.
I think there's some people that followed passion, but my God, you're completely right. We were doing what the thing to do was. That was what the thing to do was.
Absolutely.
And business, all of that.
That was booming at that time.
Oh, with marketing, everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I did business IT at City. It was a 4-year degree course. I met Yasser there, my husband. So we did the same course. But yeah, it was, university was great. It was a great experience. Very different to my experience in India. And then...
So you'd gone from India to Tenerife to London.
Correct.
And did you have any family in London, or were you literally just here on your own?
Yeah, on my own, because I was keen, because the universities in Tenerife at that time, there weren't many options.
Okay.
They were all Spanish-based, and they were quite small.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, the nearest place to here that I can go to is London. And we used to travel every summer. We used to go see when we were in India, we used to visit my grandparents over the summer holidays, and we'd always travel via London. And so I always liked the feel of it. You know, you sort of create this vision of you, if you like. You know, I'm going to study here.
London visiting is very different from London living.
It's very different.
Particularly in the summer.
Very different. But, so we graduated, and I, was looking for a job at that time, but Yasser and I got married quite quickly. So a year later we were married. He
was keen to put a ring on it, wasn't
he? He was like, what are we wasting time for?
Is hot. I'm putting a ring on it.
I don't know about that. But so we got married a year later. And whilst we were married, a young couple in London, we were qualifying to be management accountants. Both of us were doing SEMA.
Right.
So we were studying, we were working, we were commuting initially. And then we moved to London. We were commuting in and out from Peterborough. And then we stayed in London working for banks. Yasser was working for a bank in London. I was working for another bank, mainly within finance, reporting. And I did that right up till I got pregnant with my first child, Zakaria. And so I worked right up till the end. And when it was time to, give birth, we just thought, since I have no family in England, it made sense to move back, with the in-laws, let them enjoy their first grandchild, and then I have the support and all of that. So we moved back. We came here to Peterborough, and, it was all new to me, new city, new role as a mum.
Yeah.
And then 3 months down the line, I got a phone call from my bank saying, your position has been made redundant.
Oh, well, you were for mat leave.
Yeah.
Because that's a grey area, isn't it? They're brave.
They are brave. And I felt like I was one of the first few ones who they tried this with.
Yeah.
Because at that time when I left, the bank was going through a whole restructure. And, times weren't very good for them. But it was a big change for me. And I was just like, oh my God, I knew I was giving... Basically, the way it works is when you are going on mat leave, as you would sort of divide your role amongst people. You'd make sure that it's a smooth transition, right? And I remember telling my manager at that time, well, what am I going to come back to? I was conscious about it.
Okay, so you almost had an inkling, do you think?
I did, because it is banking, it is busy, people are ruthless, they don't care.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me...
So you were looking for a bit of reassurance.
I was, because I said, I'm not just going to walk away, and what am I going to come back to? Because this person's doing half of my job, this person's doing the other half. And so when I asked him, he said that I've got a lot on my plate. Trust me, you're going to be fine. Yeah. And obviously I wasn't fine. And then I soon realized that after my position was made redundant, 4 other girls of mine, my girlfriends from the same bank, also went through that. So it was a really tough time initially, you can imagine. And so that was an opportunity, because my husband was like, well, look at it as an opportunity. At that time, you don't think of it as an opportunity. You're just like, now what? And he was like, it's an opportunity to start fresh, to do something else. There's less pressure. You can focus on your children. And whilst that was scary, I did just that.
Yeah. Took a bit of time.
Took a bit of time off. Yeah. Because I've always been working. Yeah. Right up till then.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, just think about doing something that you enjoy. And at that time, I just thought I would do something I was passionate about, which was jewellery. Okay. So I started like a passion project, if you like. Yeah. And I set up an online business. There were curated sort of pieces from different parts, like from India, from Turkey, one-off pieces, selling them online. But then that only lasted for 2 years. Because it was hard with a young family, living with the in-laws. Yeah, importing and exporting. Yeah. And then because they were each individual pieces, photography for each piece, and then putting it up, it was very time consuming. Yeah,
it's not like it is now where you've got all these, websites were more,
it was way complicated. Yeah. You had to do a lot of, designing yourself. Yeah. And so I decided to then give that up. I was like, okay, fine. It was 2 years. I enjoyed that. And it was during that time when Yasser started to experience some health issues. It was that time when life was really busy. So we were a young family. We were building our house from scratch. So at that time we were staying with my in-laws, but we had our own home.
Yes. And he was commuting to London.
He was commuting into London. And, you know, it seemed like it happened overnight in terms of his health. So he started to struggle with joint pain, chronic fatigue. I mean, not tired from coming back from work and just feeling tired. I mean, just lying flat on the floor, having no energy to even hold a conversation. It was, and this is, mind you, he was in his early 30s.
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah.
So it was that time when he was going through the struggle, and you know, we were just like, well, what is going on? Because, you know, Yasser used to enjoy running, doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, quite an active person, to not being able to do anything. So we did what most people would do. We went to the GP, we got him tested, everything came back normal, nothing wrong with him.
Not even like anemic or anything?
Nothing. And there's a problem there as well. But the doctor simply said he's got to head to the gym and get some exercise done. So you can imagine a person who wants to exercise, but physically feels like he's in an older body and just he wants to, but he can't. He was really going through a rough time, you know, like emotionally, physically. He felt like.
So had you got both of your children at this point, or just Zach?
So
Zaki?
It started with Zaki.
Yeah.
And it carried on until Jahan was born. So it went on for 2 years. Yeah. So not knowing exactly what was going on. And then that was the time when we were like, there's obviously something wrong. It's not just about going to the gym and working out and, you know, getting your body, you know, stimulated again.
Yeah.
And that's when we started to look into, you know, why people in their early 30s might suffer from joint pain. And we started doing our own research, and then we realized that the more and more we looked into joint pain, this whole concept of inflammation started coming up in all of these studies. We started looking at holistic healing.
Yeah.
We realized he was struggling from an infection. At that time, he needed to get operated. There were a number of things going wrong. And
you had to find this all out yourself.
We had to figure it out.
You had to diagnose him, yeah.
Because we were told he was okay.
It's because they just put you in boxes. Now, don't get me wrong, the NHS is so fundamentally broken. We're not going to diss it because it's...
Unfortunately,
it's so broken. They can't afford to specifically diagnose, can they?
They can't, but also, you know, to give them some credit, they get 7 minutes per patient. What are you going to do in 7 minutes?
I know.
And also, when you do any blood tests, they're checking your results against a reference, a range.
Yeah.
That range is usually an average of the population that's within that area.
Right.
So if it's a high average and you are not far from it, that still is quite high.
Yeah.
You're fine. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's so important to, I think, we started doing tests online, and it was quite a new thing at that time.
Yeah.
But we were doing it privately, and we realized he is inflamed. He is very inflamed. There is something that isn't quite making sense.
Yeah.
You know? So that led to this whole journey, if you like, of sort of trying to figure out, you know, being on top of your health. He realized, so he had an infection, he needed to get operated, his immune system was working overtime. He was sort of intolerant to gluten, which was making things worse for him and his gut. Stress was obviously an issue there, as you know. So we started to work on all of these things. And then equally, I sort of went down the route of looking into holistic healing, you know, having natural remedies.
Yeah.
Because Yasser used to have a lot of painkillers as well at that time. And what we realize is, whilst painkillers are very effective and they really help, long-time regular use is not going to be great for your gut lining.
Right.
And you want to protect that gut lining, because that's when you get more inflammation and you have more aches and pains in the body, etc.
Oh my god!
So it became like a mission to find something like an alternative, natural things that will help support that, you know, body of his and just lower the inflammation. So this was how it all started. This was the whole concept of our first product.
So when was this? How long ago was this?
This took a while. So I would say when Jahan was probably 1, we started to look into this. This was probably 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but this was all new to me as well. So we were so unsure, and I sort of like fell upon this whole idea of functional medicine at that time. So you have traditional medicine and then you have functional medicine, and it was quite new at that time. Traditional medicine is all about using medication to treat, if you like, a symptom, right? So it sort of masks the pain, if you like, your painkillers,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It deals with the situation so that you get to a state of balance.
Right.
But functional medicine is about treating disease or a condition at the root. What is actually causing it? You know, and there are, you know, food is medicine. There are natural remedies. There are other things you can do. And I think at that time when Yasser was going through this, we were just like reading so much. And because I come from India as well, Ayurvedic medicine is big, right? So, you know, like curcumin, turmeric, all of these things. We grew up with these things. I mean, if I would cut if I had a cut in my finger or whatever, my grandma would put turmeric with water and she'd just dab it and it would stop. It's an anti-inflammatory, right? So we started looking into this, and the whole idea was to take away, we were trying to fix all of the things that were making him ill, that we thought were making him ill, equally supporting his body with all the goodness, right?
Yeah.
And so we started looking into, you know, nutritional supplements, and whilst we did that, you know, we were making note of what was working for him, what wasn't working for him. But then equally, Yasser absolutely hates taking supplements in the sense where he hates popping pills, whether it's a pill or a supplement or whatever it is. And so he was like, I wish it was in a liquid format, or I wish it was, you know, in this. And that's literally how this whole concept for our first product.
So you couldn't find anything, really?
We couldn't find a product that was like had a good blend of some really powerful ingredients that were working for him. Because usually you find single ingredients.
Yeah, and then you've got to take like 5 pills.
And then you've got to take 5 pills, right? Yeah. And then also, another thing that we learned is some of these ingredients actually don't absorb well. Curcumin is one of them. Turmeric doesn't absorb well at all. There's like studies and studies on it, right? And so then looking into how can you change that? You know, like how, and so looking at the technologies available there. So that's why I started working with, at that time we worked with a scientist based in the US, in LA.
Oh my God.
He had his own patented technology, and we were like, okay, this is new for the UK. It might be established in the US. And so that's how this whole concept came about, because also during that time, there were lots of other people within Yasser's friends, you know, within the circle of his friends, who were also active and complaining about joint pain, you know? So the idea was to come up with a natural alternative to painkillers. And that's where we started.
I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you have a little life in you yet.
You know, rhythm nutrition, and that's why it's like nutrition to keep you moving, rhythm nutrition.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been now, this is our 4th year. Time has gone by so quickly. But now what we do is, so rather than just focusing on pain, we're all about supporting our musculoskeletal health. So it's about, you know, developing clean products for your joint health, your bone health, your muscle health. As we age, we go through a lot of changes, hormones, especially for us women. It impacts our muscle mass, our bone density. And so we're just all about, you know, really creating products for ourselves as we age that will support us and, you know, hopefully will support
Well, and
people.
you're finding aren't out there.
This is it.
So you're looking for these, like you say, rather than, because you're completely right, definitely, I mean, gosh, menopause is a whole other thing.
Perimenopause.
That's like perimenopause. That is like 5 different things to take, isn't it? Let alone hormone patches and all sorts of things you can take.
There are so many options. But I also think like it's so important, again, going back to the whole point of functional medicine, it's so important to understand what is going on in your body to then support it with the right nutrients, you know? And each one of us are different. But it's about trying some natural alternatives as well, and not just sort of putting yourself in a box, okay, I'm going through this, so I should have this, you know. And you know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to come up with, you know, new ideas, but equally one of the things we like to do is we like to streamline or sort of simplify the process of taking supplements. Nobody wants to take supplements all day long.
No.
You know, it's a huge market.
But it's what we've been taught to do.
We've been taught to do. And so we try to infuse a little bit of fun. Like we make a collagen that's personalized.
Yeah.
It's very different to the other collagens that you get on the market.
Yeah.
And you can have it with your coffee. So that's where we try to create functional products that will serve you and your health.
Yeah.
But equally, it's quite easy to sort of fit into your routine.
Yeah, yeah.
Then 2 years ago, we launched a personalized collagen called Complete Repair. There are a lot of brands at the moment, and everybody talks about it. It's predominantly, you'll find collagen brands catering to the beauty industry. Mm-hmm. We are doing it slightly differently. So there are different types of collagen.
Yeah.
I think our body has around 28 types of collagen, but from supplements point of view, in the UK that you commonly find is type 1 and type 3 is what you usually find.
Yeah, there's only two that you can buy.
Yeah, so type 1 is the most abundant structural protein in our body. So it's good for your hair, skin, nails, which is why it's the beauty industry.
Anti-aging.
Correct, yeah. It's also good for your bone health and your ligaments, type 1. Then you've got type 3, which is found in your organs. So your gut, your blood vessels, very, very good for, maintaining that. And the one that you don't see a lot of is type 2. Type 2 is the most expensive one amongst the supplements.
Right.
And that is derived from the cartilage of the animal. So it's good for our cartilage health.
Right.
So it's good for your joint health. It's for strengthening, reducing inflammation there and strengthening your joint cartilage. So if anybody's looking to support their joint health, you should be looking to have type 2. We do give them all three.
Yeah.
But say if you didn't want the type 2, we can personalize it. And what we also do is we add a superfood to the blend. So we have some really cool ingredients, like cacao and maca, again, very good for perimenopause, menopause. Lion's mane mushroom, all of these things. So again, it's simplifying that process. You can add it to your coffee or tea or whatever you want. You can bake with it. So that's the collagen, and it's personalized. We also last year did a topical massaging oil candle.
Ooh.
So it's a candle.
Yeah.
It looks like a candle, but it's made up of 10 essential oils. And one of them has got a little bit of CBD. So one of them is CBD. Ooh. So you burn the candle.
Yeah.
You let the oil melt.
Yeah.
Because the base is all made out of these essential oils. You don't overburn it. You just let it melt. You pour it into the palm of your hands. And you apply it to your body or wherever it aches. Because we felt like a lot of our customers wanted topical help as well, especially in the winter months.
Yes.
It's perfect for winter. It's very good for Christmas.
So you get a lovely smelling room.
Lovely smelling rooms, lovely smelling body as well.
Yes.
Moisturizing. Literally now, this week, we are launching a personalized protein as well. So D-Flame is good for inflammation, complete repairs for your tissues and your skin and your joint health. The protein is for your muscle health, so it's called Pure Protein.
Yeah.
We have, again, it's personalized, so we've got two variations. We've got fava bean and red lentil, which is for the vegan, customers. And then we've got whey protein. And then again, you can add superfoods. The thing about our products that I'm really picky about is the quality of the ingredients.
Yeah.
But I hate adding extra stuff. When you buy protein powders, it's got some added flavor. It tastes synthetic.
It does taste synthetic. I was about to say that. No matter how natural it says it is.
I'm sorry, it doesn't. So
No.
they'll say chocolate flavor, vanilla flavor. It does not taste like real chocolate. I'm sorry.
No.
And then there's sugars. There's hidden sugars that people don't know about. So for us, we'll just make it fresh. It's literally raw organic ingredients, packed specially for you, in a pouch that will last you a month.
Wow.
And then we also do one more product. It's called Force Field. It is a high-strength vitamin D product. But again, we have more nutrients there. So it's got vitamin C, zinc, and resveratrol.
So has this come off the back of COVID then?
So this has come off the back of COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's...
Because that's what it highlighted, just how lacking in vitamin D in this country we all were.
This vitamin is so underrated.
I know, none of us had really spoken about vitamin D prior to COVID, had we?
And the RDA is so low like, they'll tell you to have so little of vitamin D. Vitamin D is excellent for you. There is a small percentage of population that can have too much vitamin D, but it's like tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally have 4,000 IU because I'm brown. I don't absorb it really well.
Yeah.
But the product is basically there to support your bone health. Vitamin D is excellent for bone health, but it's also there for your immunity.
So obviously it's been 4 years, so that is full COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, so we were going to launch 2020 April, I remember. That was our time. We were like, this is the time. We had our stock was arriving in March, and we were like, April, we're going to just go for it. And then me and Yasa chickened out. We chickened out. We were like, what are we thinking? It was our first business, and we were thinking, everybody's thinking about surviving, and we're going to launch a supplement, like a product. I don't think so. And then as we were learning more, and we were realizing these new online shopping trends of people as well, supplements were just, people were buying them. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when we were like, gosh, this is the time.
Yeah.
Actually, it's now. And so we launched in November 2020. And it just,
It's mad.
I remember we launched D-Flame with 2,000 units. It's expensive to make D-Flame, let me tell you that, because it's made in the US, so you've got shipping there, you've got this whole new patented technology, so it's not a cheap product to make.
Yeah.
So we did put in a lot of our money there, but I remember within 4 or 5 months, considering it's a new business, we sold out.
Wow.
Which was such a relief for us.
Yeah.
You
need to make your money back.
You need to make your money back. You need to keep going.
Well, and like you say, at that time, even from the supplements business was obviously massive. It peaked, or it was getting, but the marketing surrounding it. So just trying to get some air to tell people who you were.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to sell everybody everything.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It's about experiment, because the thing is also, like, from the brand image point of view, we've always our target audience, if you like, there are people above 35, 40.
Yeah.
And actually the products can also benefit younger people. So for example, we do have now customers who they have heavy periods.
Yeah,
girls who have heavy periods.
Yeah.
They're really getting on well with D-Flame as a painkiller, right?
Yeah.
PCOS is an inflammatory related condition.
Yeah.
And so it's about sort of now going out a bit and sort of targeting a younger audience and seeing how they respond to it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
PCOS is a massive thing that's not talked about anywhere near enough.
And endometriosis as well, both of these things.
Yeah. And
they're both linked to inflammation. But I think now people are starting to talk about it. So yeah, there's so much with natural products. I think you can really, they're so versatile, and they can cater to so many things. And if you think back then, when our ancestors used it, they used it for many things.
Yeah.
These natural remedies.
Yeah.
Because they were these powerful nutrients.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to ask you my 3 final questions.
Go on.
And they are, what advice would you give your younger self? So it could be any version of younger Maya. Could be proper younger Maya in Mumbai. It could be Maya landing in London. What advice would you give your younger self?
Wow. I think I think women in particular are guilty of this. I think we are pleasers.
People pleasers.
Yeah. And I think in my life there have been times where I have been quite a bit of a pleaser, and I've done certain things that I wasn't fully on board with, and that does not sit in my core. I'm very much a person, I'm very open in the sense, and I'm very, very aligned with my values, And so I don't do that anymore. If it doesn't align with me, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm my best when I am myself. And so, that's something that has happened organically. So yeah, I think that's the advice.
So you tell your young self not to be such a people pleaser, basically.
Just be more aligned with what you stand for, and you know, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel right, it's okay.
Okay, second question. What advice would your older self give you now?
Oh my
So
God.
we're going with 60-year-old Maya. What would she say to you now?
Gosh, I have to think about that. Imagine myself being 60.
I know. I think you'll be amazing.
I'm always going to be 40. I think, you know, that it will be all worth it. You know, we're working really hard at the moment, and sometimes, you know, you just feel like it's non-stop. It's really non-stop, and there are days where you feel like giving up, but hopefully then my older self will say it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully it'll mean something.
keep
then.
going.
Yeah.
So she'll be proud of you.
Yeah, she'd be proud of me.
Cool. Then the final question
Yeah.
is just a bit of life advice or a mantra, which could be what you've already talked about, to throw out there for any, we always say generally women, but it could be men, any age. If there's just one bit of, like if Maya had a t-shirt, what would it say?
You can do anything and everything. Honestly, I think you know, we've grown up in this world. In our time, we've always thought, okay, we needed to study certain degrees, we needed to do a qualification, you needed to go through the process. And yes, you pick up these things, help you pick up skills, but you do not need to do a degree to pick up on some skills. You can do something else.
Yeah.
You know, you can top up, you can have your toolkit if you like, if you invest the time, you know, in a different way.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think, I mean, I say this because when we first started the business, I had this phobia that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's not just about, you know, jumping into a new business, but just, you know, because you feel like this is not my area.
It's called imposter syndrome, isn't
This
it?
This is it. And I think it shouldn't be there, provided
But
you
it's
are.
really there with
It's
girls
there,
and
it's
women.
it's there.
Oh yeah.
Till today it's there. And I think you've just got to be, you know, like, you've got to have the passion, you have to have the interest, and you've got to be you and share, you know, and that's it. And I'm learning to do that as I'm progressing through this journey. And I'm enjoying
You believe in
it.
yourself. You've learned to believe in yourself.
I
more.
really am enjoying it, because honestly, Michelle, everybody's winging it. Everybody's winging it. So,
It is true.
yeah, so, you know, that's it.
Brilliant.
You can do everything.
On that, let me say thank you very much.
You're welcome. That was so nice.
These moments
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website www.thiswomanswork.org. The link is on this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.